This is just a bit of a tutorial on an auto shulker loader. So this one, it's using a shulker that's, depending on how full that shulker is, it will determine on how full the shulkers are before they're broken in the filler. So basically, if you only half fill the shulker at the start, you'll end up with shulkers that are half full of whatever you're putting into them. It also uses the autocrafter to make shulkers when they're required, rather than loading hundreds of shulkers or whatever into chests beforehand. So you don't need to make the shulker beforehand. You just need the shells and chests, and you're pretty much all good to go. So this bit here, it's just the locker, so it locks that bottom. Basically, it locks the bottom hopper so that the shulkers don't empty out. Yeah, and get fired up to the top. You'll see all that later on. At the moment, I'll just leave it at that. I'll jump back in when I need to. Yeah, just watch the video. So all of this part down the bottom basically locks the hopper underneath the shulker when it's placed. So it stops the shulker from automatically emptying rather than being filled. So in other words, the items will be stopped in the shulker sitting on the hopper rather than going through into the bottom part of the machine. I've put both these on 4 ticks basically. So once you do the redstone, get all that sorted in, you might find you're getting a bit of material going through. In my case, I'm using bamboo for the test, so I might get 1 or 2 bamboo shooting through just because the timings aren't quite right. You can mess around with the timings, and to do with this bottom piston locking that hopper. In my case, I'm not too worried about it because it's only a few bamboo or a few items getting through, so just put them back into the system afterwards. Yeah, that's basically that for now. I'll come back in a second once we get to some more of the complicated bits. So this is the part that breaks the shulkers. It's governed by the comparators and the shulker, which is on the right hand side. If that shulker on the right hand side is full, then the circuit will activate once the shulker being filled is full, basically. All it does is pass a signal through to a piston that breaks the shulker on the other side. Once that's done, the timing needs to be about right, and that hopper underneath will unlock, shulker disappears, the hopper locks again, and then there's another circuit which will be added later which puts a shulker back there. Yeah, we'll see all that shortly. I'll be back in a minute. This part's quite important. Just make sure you get the auto crafter the right way around so that it passes the shulkers on. And you need to make sure you put the shulker shells and chests and lock all these 6 sections of the crafter. Don't leave that empty, so you can put a hopper on top of that and fill it with shulker shells and chests, basically, and that'll keep that topped up. If it gets empty at any stage, you have to get back down and fill it in the correct order. Otherwise, if you mess with auto crafters, they're a bit finicky. So if they empty out, they don't necessarily fill in the correct order. You've got to basically go back to them and fill them, unless you've got a mechanism that'll drop the shulker shells and chests and everything in the correct order to it, which is another circuit again, which isn't worth making. It's not for this one anyway. So yeah, I'll come back in a bit. So this is just me just doing a test on the system. So when I place this, you'll see that it activates the system, breaks the shulker, it goes down through the system, and in a second you'll see it pops up the top. There it is there. The autocrafter generates a shulker, plus it through the dispenser. Dispenser detects it and then basically activates and puts that onto the hopper again. So basically just replaces the shulker that's been broken. Yeah, I'll come back in a bit. So this is basically what happens to the machine if you don't have enough stacks of items on the shulker on the right hand side, which is the testing shulker. So that, like I said, that governs how full the shulkers and breaker will be before they basically break and set up through the system. So if there's only got a couple of stacks in it, it doesn't work very well. So you're best to just have a full shulker there, or almost full, so that your shulkers are properly filled up before they're broken, and you'll see that in a bit. So I'll carry on. So this is basically where I put a full shulker so that it works the system properly, rather than ending up with half full shulkers. So it does take quite a lot longer for it to fill up now, but basically if I put a full shulker of bamboo at the top there just as a test, you'll see that slowly filling up. And this is also where you can start your water stream, so that your full shulkers will end up in a storage chest rather than just bobbing up and down on top of the water stream. So all I did was just make a little, there's quite a few ways to do this. You can just go straight into a hopper or a chest that's closer, but I just did a little water stream to a double chest, so it worked quite well. You'll see that in a bit. I'll carry on and I'll yeah, you'll see it working in a second. Just in a second you'll see this comparator which is turned on. Just make sure you turn that off. I only did that as I was having some problems with the machine earlier, just because I didn't have enough items in my other shulker. So you make sure you turn that off, or your shulkers will never break and unload. So yeah, just to let you know. So I'll just speed through this bit. This is just me basically testing, make sure the system's working. You'll see at the end of this the comparator. I realised that I needed to turn that back off again to make the system work. The shulker was pretty much full, but it wasn't unloading, and that's what happens if you leave that on like it is currently. But you'll see that in a second when I realise. It's just coming up to the end of the section now. Yeah, so the system worked. It generated a new shulker, got rid of that one, pushed it onto the water stream, and it should have ended up in this chest. So that's the full shulker. If I take that down, see it's completely full. Yeah, and that's it. And I'll fast forward this next section as well. So that was just the filling of that shulker. It takes quite a while, so fast forwarded. This all then activated, broke the shulker. So that other shulker's gone up the top, gone through the water stream, and it's ended up in that chest just here. Yeah, full shulker again. So quite a handy setup to have on a bamboo farm, cane farm, whatever really. There are simpler ways to do it as well. You don't have to have the autocrafter. Having the autocrafter makes this system a bit bigger because of the timings. If you do it wrong, you'll just end up with a bunch of shulkers being spat out onto the ground underneath the machine, or it'll try and it'll fill the dispenser up basically and not be able to push them out, or it'll keep on trying to activate it. So yeah, easiest way is to just have all the timings correct so that the shulkers get made at the time that's needed rather than beforehand. I mean, you can just have a dispenser filled with shulkers with a chest above it. Works as well, but it's just a different setup. Right, so that's basically it. I'll leave you to it.